And we are live. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to a very special edition of Off the Record, the People's Podcast this afternoon. This is a very special interview to me because we get to learn more about the man that we've seen behind closed doors, but we never got to really have full conversations with him. My sister's name is Sister Alaikum Salam, sir. Um, Now I call you Uncle Joshua off the camera, but for the sake of the interview, I want to call you Brother Joshua. So just to be formal a little bit.
Yes.
Brother Joshua, first of all, we want to extend the greetings of Assalamu Alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. Excellent, sir. Thank you very much for taking time out of your schedule, sir. This means a great deal to me and to my family and to the viewing and listening audience. My first question for you, Brother Joshua, is what was it like growing up prior to 75 in the Nation of Islam?
Well, growing up as a Muslim in America prior to 75, it was hard because the country and our people were mostly Christian. So we were Muslims. I was born a Muslim.
Yes, sir.
And we were living in a community of Black people, but they were Christians. And we were considered different because we had close haircuts when afros were out, and we had to wear a suit and bow tie to school.
Yes, sir.
And we really couldn't socialize outside of our community, but I did.
Yes, sir.
And I had a lot of friends who were Christians that we didn't celebrate any of the holidays. The only holiday we celebrated was Savior's Day.
Yes, sir.
And it was different because all the children during Christmas had gifts. Different holidays, different things would happen in the community, and we were no part of. So I felt like an outcast in a sense because I wanted toys. I wanted.
Yes, sir.
We weren't supposed to go to parties and really intermingle with them, especially girls.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because going to Muhammad University and growing up as a Muslim, we were kept separated from the female. So when we had to go to school, we went the first part of the morning was nothing but brothers. And then after 12, the sisters would come.
Yes,
and
sir.
we only did about 3.5 hours of school every day, except the weekends. But
Okay.
it was strange and hard because I wanted an afro. I wanted to wear I wanted to wear my earrings. I wanted to be cool like everybody else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And it caused me to get into a lot of fights because older people would smack our heads because it was bald. When you walk by, you'd be a stranger and they just smack your head. So I would end up fighting. Me and my brothers would fight these people, and all praises due to Allah, we always came out the victor.
Hey, Allah. Okay, yes, sir. Okay, beautiful. And thank you all for watching the People's Podcast and giving a lot of people are giving you the greetings, Brother Joshua. My next question is, what was it? Did you ever get to see the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad prior to 75? Did you get to see him physically?
Yes, sir. I believe I was 13 years old, and it was the first Savior's Day that my father was able to bring all his children to Chicago. And we were poor. The minister wasn't making much money, but somehow he was blessed to save up enough to bring his family to Chicago for Savior's Day. And I always seem to be the favorite of most people for some reason.
Yes, sir.
Because I have the kind of personality that I really involve myself in you or people.
Yes, sir.
I never thought I was bigger or better or special.
Yes, sir.
But as I'm telling you this, when I got to Chicago, there was a brother named the communicator, Wali Muhammad. Allah be pleased with him being with us.
Yes, sir.
But I was staying, my family was staying at Sister Lottie Muhammad, who's the messenger's daughter. We were staying at her home. And her son was leaving the house. And out of all my father's children, he said, hey, Josh, come on, man, let's take a ride. I said, okay. So the other children were playing there, paying no attention. So I went and got in the car with Wali Muhammad, and he was driving and talking to me. And we pulled up to this house. So I went into the house with him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I thought it was cool because the house looked really big to me. I thought it was a school. So he said, just come on, man. So I went in, and he said, hey, Grandma, I came to bring something to you. And so I looked at the sister, and I said, wow, that looked like Sister Clara Muhammad. May Allah be pleased with you too.
Yes, sir.
But thank you, Josh.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So she came over and she gave me the greetings, and I returned the greetings. And she was talking to me. Everything wasn't clicking right then and there. So I had on a trench coat and a white shirt. I wasn't wearing my bow tie, but shirt was open because Josh was always trying to be cool.
Yes, sir. Hey. Yes, sir.
And she said, aren't you going to give the most honorable Elijah Muhammad the greetings? And my head drew back, and I looked, and I turned my head to the right. And the messenger was walking right to me.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Okay, great. And thank you all for watching. Thank you very much, Brother Joshua. And go ahead, I'm listening.
So let me finish. So the messenger gave me when I seen him walking to me, I snapped to attention, but then I realized my shirt was open and I didn't have my bow tie.
Yes, sir.
So I was buttoning. I buttoned up my shirt, and he took my hand and he gave me the greetings, and he asked me my name, and I said, Brother Joshua Farrakhan. And he said, I think I know that name, brother.
Yes, sir.
He said, I think I heard the name Farrakhan before. And I said, yes, sir, the apostle, he's one of your great ministers. One of your great ministers. And he says, yes, sir. And he said, please give your father the greetings. But brother, I have to go and take my little nap now. It's a pleasure to meet you. And he went up the steps. And that was my first encounter with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And later that week, the family was invited to his home for dinner. So all of us went to his home and we had dinner. And after dinner, he came. No, I went over to the table where he was sitting, and I offered him all of my savings. At 13, I had $63. So I passed him the envelope, and he took it, and he says, "Wow, brother, this is quite a bit of money." So he said, "I want you to keep it, though." He said, "You keep that, and you keep adding to it, and keep saving, and give it to me another time." And he gave me back the money. And later so dinner was over. Then the next morning, my father came and called all the children together, and the messenger had given each one of us a $100 bill.
Hey, praise be to Allah. Praise be to Allah.
That's the only 2 times I've ever had a personal moment with the Honorable Elijah.
Okay, what an honor, and praise be to Allah. And thank you all for watching. And once again, I want to thank you, Brother Joshua, for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family. I have so many questions for you, but I want to let's stay on the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, because I read this story in the final call and it was so fascinating. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to tell the story yourself of the interview you had with Brother Jabril, where you were actually holding posts when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad departed in 1975. How did that happen?
Yes, sir. My sister Maria, one of my favorite sisters.
Yes, sir.
Such a loving woman.
Yes, sir.
She had married the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's grandson, Alif Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
So we were staying there at Maria's home in Alif's home. These are the 4 houses that are identical to the palace, but they're right across the street, but they're smaller.
Yes, sir.
And Alif Muhammad got a call from his father, who is Herbert Muhammad, or Jabbar Muhammad. He took the holy name Jabbar.
Yes, sir.
So Alif was told by his father, get some brothers and get down to the hospital to secure your grandfather. So I was asleep. He woke me up. He said, "Josh, now I had Lewis and Mustafa, was named Wallace then, were there, and there was a brother Kamal and a brother Hussein. These are young people my age."
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All of us were staying at my sister's home in Chicago. He woke me up and said, "Come with me." He didn't tell me where we were going. It was late at night. And I got in the car, and brother Kamal got in the car. Olive drove us down to the hospital. And he didn't tell me that I was chosen to be on security until we got in the elevator. Because I was always a guy as well.
Okay. Yes,
I always fought, and I took martial arts, and I carried guns. I did everything,
okay. Yes, sir.
At a young age, we had no fear coming up.
Yes, sir.
No fear whatsoever. So once he told me that I was going to hold post for the messenger, I'm like, man, I could have got some of Sultan's guns, because Sultan had all kind of guns. This is Allah's brother.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we got up on the floor. When we got up on the floor where the messenger was being held in the intensive care unit, there was only one little old brother who was on post, sitting outside the room where the messenger was. And I looked around and I'm saying to myself, this is strange.
Mm.
One old man on post, and then they called me, Olive, and Kamal, a holding post on the messenger of Allah, who has a nation. He has captains and lieutenants, supreme captains. In every city he had FOI.
Yes, sir.
Now, how am I chosen, a little 16-year-old boy who's a bad mother? you know, you know, I took honor, but I had to question that.
Yes, sir.
You know, so there I was, man. We relieved the old brother, and I took post, and I sat in that seat in front of the door where the messenger of Allah was lying in intensive care. And so as we did our shifts, because at the end of the hall there was a lounge, and Olive and Kamal would be sitting in the lounge, and we would take turns getting in that seat.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
I went in the room. You know, I had to see the messenger. You know, I snuck in the room, and I looked, and there were other people in there as well. So I'm looking around and making sure that these people are really sick. So I got me a pen. I'm going to each one of these people, man, and I'm sticking them. It is a true story, guys, man.
Yes, sir.
I went to everybody but the messenger, man, and stuck them with this pen to make sure that they behind was sick and that this was no scam, you know, where they're playing sick and they're gonna try to get to my leader.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But that's how that took place, man. I ended up there, and at one point the alarm went off,
Mm.
and the messenger's heart gave out. And so the
Mm.
doctors and everybody was in, and I just got behind the door. I stayed in the room, and I got behind the door where they kept coming in, rushing in, and I watched them trying to revive the messenger. You know, they put cotton on his lip to see if the cotton would blow away from his nose. They put a mirror in front of his mouth to see if there was any breath coming out, or they can get any form of mist. You know, the fog gets on the mirror when you breathe on it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So none of that took place. They tried to revive him, and then he was pronounced dead. So I got out the room. You know, after they cleared, I kissed his feet and said a prayer, but I went straight to the phone, and Olive, you know, was telling me, don't tell nobody that the messenger, you know, had passed. I said, yes, sir. As soon as he walked away from me, I walked right over to the payphone and called my father.
Wow.
And when I was talking to my father, I said, Dad, I got some bad news. He said, what is it, son? I said, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is dead. He passed away.
Mm.
He said, what? I said, yeah, Dad, I was chosen to be on post. And I'm right here, right now. And I just left the messenger's body in the next room. And my father got quiet. He couldn't say nothing. And it seemed like we were on the phone for hours after I told him, but it was only 30, 40 seconds. He was just quiet. But it seemed like forever. And then he said, okay, son, assalamu alaikum, and he hung up. And hours later, it hit the news. But that's how that happened.
Yes,
I'm trying to compact it to where I can make a long story short.
Oh, yes, sir. Take your time. Just take your time.
Yes,
and thank you again for your transparency and honesty. And thank you all for watching the People's Podcast. My next question, because once again, I'm going all over the place, but I'm going to stay on the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. After, we'll go back to prior to 75 and some other things, but when the Most Honorable Min Farrakhan reads Brother Jabril's book, he says his eyes are wide open. He comes back into the house, according to a lecture I watched, and he said that it was you who was there, who was one of the first people who accepted that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was alive and you were going to help your father rebuild the work. How could you go from that prior to 75 to being one of the first people to stand with your father and help your father? What changed?
Well, I always party, Josh. I always had long hair and I snuck and pierced my ear. And I got out and I liked women or girls then.
Yes, sir.
And I moved around and enjoyed as much as I could under the restrictions of the nation, but I always snuck out. I knew my father was struggling, and he went to the West Coast. He was, I think they offered him a part in a movie to play Malcolm X, and he was going to take the part, but because he needed money to feed his family, we were not doing too well.
Yes, sir.
And he was going to go back in the show business. Imam Wardi Muhammad had already turned against his father, and he was beating up on my father, and I had a vision. My father's in California now, meeting with Stevie Wonder and Brock Peters and other actors to try to get into either show business or singing again because he had to feed his family. And the vision that I had let me know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, first of all, Master Farad Muhammad, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, were true. He was Master Farad, God. The vision let me know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, and my father was his helper.
Allahu Akbar.
So after 2 weeks of my father being in California, I'm in the back with Mustafa and Lewis and some of the neighbors playing basketball, and my father was pulling up with his little, I believe it was the Blue Seville, pulling up in the driveway on 9415 South Bend, is where we started rebuilding the nation. He pulled up, and I ran to the car. And he didn't even get out the car yet. And he was happy to see us. We hadn't seen him in a couple of weeks, and he rolled his window down. Hey, son, how you doing? I said, I'm fine, Dad. Do you believe that Master Farad is God? And he's still sitting in the car and the motor running. And he hasn't pulled all the way past the house to the garage yet.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And he said, yes. I said, do you believe that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is the messenger of Allah?
Mm-hmm.
He looked at me strange. He said, yes. He said, son, if you had asked me this question 2 weeks ago, you would have probably got a different answer. And he drove to the back, parked the car and got out. And he said, come in the house. I got to talk to the family. So we walked back down the driveway and went into the kitchen, and my mother was standing there. And he said, gather the family. We all went and sat down in the living room. And he says, I'm going to rebuild the nation of Islam. He said, with the help of Allah, we're going to do this. Some of the family members weren't too proud or keen of that idea, because we got so far up on the ladder as building the nation of Islam and helping our people. And then the Imam was tearing it down and going against my father and those who believed in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And it was a struggle. It was hard on us mentally and physically, you know, that everything that we had built, we seen just fade away, just go. And then now they calling my father the new Malcolm, the hypocrite.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know. So my father was saying, but I'm going to do it. One of my sisters said, you crazy. One of my brothers said that too.
Yes, sir.
Lewis. Well, I'll be pleased with him.
I'll be pleased with him. Yes, sir.
All we've been through, now we're going to go back to that? So he says, well, they're going to probably try to kill her. Because I'm going to lift the Honorable Elijah Muhammad back up, and I'm going to rebuild this nation with the help of Allah. He said, but they're going to try to kill us. We might have to get some weapons. I said, hold on, Dad. And he looked at me, and the family was still sitting there. And my mother always used to get on me because I slept a lot to her during the daylight hours.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I'll get back to that. So I ran upstairs and I went into my secret little place. I started pulling out all these guns. And I came downstairs and I had them wrapped in a towel. And I placed it on the table. Father's eyes got big. Oh. He looked over at me like, man, a 16-year-old boy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I had a nice chrome 357, pearl handle, 45, shotgun. I had everything.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The minister jumped up, started pulling the curtain, and he said, son, what are you doing with all of this? I said, Dad, I knew they were going to try to kill us. I didn't know if they were going to rebuild the nation. But I knew they were going to try to kill us, and we're not going to end up like that family in Washington, D.C., where they killed a non-Muslim. They killed the children, the mother, the father. It was horrible, horrible. And I said, well, this ain't going to happen to my family. So while my father and mother thought I was asleep during the night, I was up patrolling the house.
Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Packed to the T.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Those hypocrites to come to my door or through my window to execute my family, I was ready.
Allahu Akbar.
So all praises be to Allah. We are
Praise
still here. And I never had to use those guns in the house.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. And thank you very much for your transparency and honesty, sir. And once again, thank you for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family. Thank you all for watching. My next question, we're going to come back. I'm trying to stay in chronological order. But when you were in New York prior to 75, did you ever see Malcolm X in person?
I see Malcolm X once, but I was a little boy. I can't remember if it was Boston. Yeah, it was Boston. He came to the house in Boston. We lived right next to the mosque on Intervale Street, and Malcolm came to see my father, and he gave me a pad or pencil, was trying to teach me my ABCs. I don't know, I might have been 4 or 5 years old, brother.
Yes, sir.
That's the only time I met Brother Malcolm.
Yes, sir. Now, Brother Joshua, I've heard stories of your home being firebombed and the Most Honorable Farrakhan, getting the children out. Were you there? And do you remember any of that?
I was there. I don't remember any of them. My brother. Yes, sir.
Okay.
But all of us got out. My father ran and got all of us out.
Praise be to Allah. Okay, well, Brother Joshua, what did you do for fun prior to 75? Like when you were young in New York, like what did you do for fun?
Well, the messenger of Allah gave us the $100 a piece. Me and my brother Lewis put our money together, and there was a mini bike called an Alexander Reynolds. And I took that money and put it with my brothers, and my brother Mustafa, he took his money. We brought 2 mini bikes, lawnmower engines, full start. And so we rode around the neighborhood on mini bikes, and we played handball, we played stickball. I like dancing.
Okay, beautiful.
I like fishing, I like horseback riding. I do all of that.
Wonderful. And your son, I had the opportunity to interview your son, Elijah. He spoke of your love for animals. Do you still have that same love now?
Yes, sir. I love animals.
Yes, sir.
Right now, I have a dog and a cat that's barking outside the door. Get them here with me. They're wondering what's happening. It don't go down like that. We stick together.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, my next question is, personally, my father told me that the reason, he named me after you was because of your relationship with him. What was it about my father that allowed you to trust him to do security for your father? You know what I'm saying? What was that?
I have a gift. I can read people pretty good. Your father became my best friend. A beautiful brother, beautiful brother, beautiful heart, and dedicated. He's one of the most dedicated members in the nation that I've ever met.
Praise be to Allah.
Way back then. you know,
Yes,
and
sir.
I was drawn to him. I was walking and I was drawn to him. He was, I think it was standing posted at Constitution Hall. And as I was walking, I went right over to him, and I was, you know, I love introducing myself to the believers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You know, I just like to know who am I blessed to put my hands in, whose hands am I putting my hands in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Everyone is special, and everyone has beauty in them. But who's going to bring it out? Who's going to show that good side?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But your father was so humble, and I walked up to him and greeted him, and he was standing posing. We talked for a little while. And I liked what he was saying. So basically, I got someone to relieve him so he could walk with me because I also needed help in the tape department.
Okay.
And I couldn't, I did the recording. I did sometimes the searching. I thought I put the charity. I wore all the hats, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I needed help.
Yes, sir.
So I chose Brother Sharif, who was William back then.
Yes, sir.
I used to call him Willie. Hey, Willie. He probably gonna be mad at Forgive me for saying that.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, I felt something from your father, man, and we walked from that day. We walked together, and the more I got to know him, the more I fell in love with him, and the more I fell in love with him, the more we did together. So he ended up traveling all over the world, and then he ended up becoming our supreme captain. It was a beautiful supreme captain, one of the best we ever had.
Praise be to Allah. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Joshua, what was it? How do you choose? You say you read the spirit of people. How I can only imagine not being paranoid with being the son of the minister and you protecting them, and then you're, you know what I'm saying, you were running the security at the time. How did you gauge all the people in every city before there was an E-team? How did you know who to put there and who to, like, how did you do it?
Well, I didn't gauge every last one. I had to put my trust in your father
Yes,
as
sir.
well, because once he introduced people to me that he thought that he would put his life out for,
Yes, sir.
that they would do the job the way it should be done, I would spend time with those brothers. We would go out to a restaurant, eat, talk, walk. I let them come into my room and talk and joke and all of this. I'm weighing them out, you know. And then some I would say, put this one on a trip. I'm gonna let this one go and be a part of the team.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
some
sir.
I was still nice to, but I didn't choose them to be on the team at the time. But your father helped me pick some of the brothers as well. But it's a hard job, man. And if you make the wrong decision and something happens to the minister or someone cause us to get hurt over their foolishness, you know,
Okay.
could
Yes,
easily
sir.
happen. But Allah blessed me to pick some good brothers, and your father picked some good brothers, and we never had any internal altercations with the team, and we did everything with Allah's help. The minister's still around the corner from us.
Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. And thank you all for watching. I see your comments. I just got a few. I got these questions I got to get out, but thank you all for watching the People's Podcast. Brother Joshua, my next question is, you always did, there's a pure love that the people who are close to you can see from you, but maybe people who from afar may not know, but you seem to help your father and help the nation in a unique way where you do it, where you had a ponytail, but you were still doing security. You had a goatee. How did you have where everybody seems so rigid and strict and judgmental, how did you do it in that way and not care what people thought about you?
Well, I think it was because I was made to cut my hair so much, and I couldn't wear it long
Yes, sir.
because I have a different grade, you know, in my hair, similar to my father's.
Yes, sir.
But I didn't give a damn what people thought about
Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
me. Yeah, once I got from under my father's roof, man, you know, where I had to have a haircut, couldn't wear shorts or couldn't wear earrings and all that, couldn't have a girlfriend. Once I turned a certain age and I could get out, I did what I wanted to do.
Yes, sir.
Always had a true love for black people.
Yes,
That
sir.
was placed into me from birth. You know,
Yes, sir.
genetically. My father loved black people. He loved humanity, but
Yes,
he
sir.
loved our people first. We the one that suffer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful.
And that's all I worried about was the suffering to make sure you could eat, you can shower and have clean clothes on. I didn't care but comb your hair if you got it long.
Yes, sir. Okay, my next question is: could you share with us? We see so much of your father through interviews or through personal interactions, but Mother Farrakhan, when we get to see her in the Children's Village, but that's more like, you know, kind of still private. Can you share a story of her that we may not know of your mother?
So many stories. All I can really say is she is one of the most beautiful women I've ever met in my life. She has a beautiful heart, brother, and
Yes, sir.
she loves our people. She loves people. Period. You know, maybe I got my little gift from her
Mm, mm, mm.
of weighing people out because my mother is a very sensitive person, very plain but powerful. You
Beautiful.
know, she doesn't come out with big words, and she don't do a lot of talking. She's a woman of action. You know, and she stuck behind my father every step of the way, and
Wow.
it hasn't been easy.
Yes, sir.
It has not been easy for her or my family,
Yes, sir.
but we love the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We love our people, and we love our Father.
Praise be to Allah.
Whatever
Thank
he focuses on and whatever he wants to do, we back him. We give 100% to whatever he's trying to do and do our best to make it happen.
Allahu Akbar. And once again, Brother Joshua, thank you for your sacrifice and the sacrifice of your family. 1 second, Brother Joshua. I got a lot of questions, but a few more questions, but I want to just make sure I give a commercial break for the sponsors of this podcast, because without you, the People's Podcast cannot go. My sister Naima has Stay On Point Dance Academy LLC. It's on Instagram. Make sure you all get that. Thank you for your support. Supreme Men's Clothing in St. Louis, Missouri, 10835 West Florissant Avenue, 63136. The phone number is 314-528-5555. Please go to our brother. He's going to keep you dressed fresh. He's going to keep you dripping with your nice clothes. BMW Entertainment in Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you for your yearly subscription. Designerofcomposure.com, Khalik's Boutique on Instagram, Sister Tia Vinos Muhammad in St. Louis, Raising Black Millionaires. She has cards for young Black children to learn economic empowerment. My brother Rashad, Street Premiere, he has a video production. He has a drone camera that he uses all the time. So he's working on video and editing. Thank you, Rashad, for your yearly subscription. My sister Miriam's book, a coloring book, ABC I Love Me, Angela's book on Amazon. Make sure you get it. Thank you for always supporting and showing me love, Mimi. My second book, Cleopatra, is a children's book, is on Amazon. Thank you all for your support. And last but not least, my father's book, A Soldier in the Movement of Christ, AbdulSharifMuhammad.com. Thank you very much, Dad, for your support as well. Speaking of that, I had to just make a quick story, Brother Josh. If my first book, No Father, No Excuse, when I first did it, I was so nervous, and I sent it to you, and you said you enjoyed it, and if it was not for you, I would have never got to take a picture with the Most High Min Farrakhan with it and give it to him. I thank you on behalf of myself and my family, because not only did you always put my father in a position to help your father, there's no security in me holding posts if it's not for Brother Joshua giving me the green light. So I thank you, and getting my family pictures anytime. We love you. I try not to say Uncle Josh on the camera because I'm trying to be professional, but I just want you to know that we love you so much, and thank you so much for just being nice to us. I mean, nice to the believers. We appreciate that, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate you and your family and your family sacrifice, because it's not easy for you being you.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah.
But your father does such a great work, and there are people envious and jealous of him. And so they make it harder on you and your brothers and sisters. So may Allah bless you all, and you all stay strong, and let's fight the power.
Yes, sir. We with it. Okay, Josh, I got so many people keep texting me right now. I'm coming to your questions right now. My next question is, how do you feel about sharing your father and your mother with the world? Was that a trial for you, or how was that?
Yes, sir. Definitely was and still is a trial, because I'm still sharing them.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I make appointments to see my own father, and I'm right next to him.
Yes, sir.
I know how hard it is for him to have time, personal time for himself, because he's always studying. He's always trying to find a way to help the believers and the world. Always. So just because I was in charge of his security and quite a few other things, I never took advantage of his personal time. I would say to my father, Dad, when you have time, I would love to have a few minutes with you. But I'm with him every day.
Yes, sir.
But
yes, sir.
I asked him for permission for his personal time, so I could just sit down and talk to him about some things that are on my heart. But never took advantage of, just because he's my father, just sit, talk to him and all that. I give him his space. Whenever he has a moment to be alone and where he can think and pray and all that, I just leave him alone.
Okay, beautiful. And thank you for that. And thank you all for your comments, and continue to watch the People's Podcast. Brother Joshua, was there pressure when, did you feel pressure to marry, once you married the daughter of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, did you feel pressured by that?
No, there was no, the pressure was staying away from her before I was married.
Yes, sir.
Boy, Sister Marie was the finest woman I ever seen in my life, man. When I saw her, man, I felt electricity through my body.
Yes, sir.
I mean,
yes,
all my hair stood up on my body, man. For real.
Yes,
know
sir.
how it is to feel
Yes,
everything, man. So around the same time, the minister brought us out to Chicago for Savior's Day. I was going to the palace, and I seen this girl come out of the old house, walking over to the palace, which was right next door. When I seen Maria, I grabbed my father's arm and yanked it. I said, "Oh, Dad, look at her." I said, "I'm gonna marry that sister. I'm gonna marry her." And I didn't know she was the messenger of Allah's daughter.
Yes, sir.
I just, fine woman, fine young girl.
Yes, sir.
Fine, Josh. I'm gonna say that one more.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And one day we the minister was speaking in Madison Square Garden in New York.
Yes, sir.
And he was there. And I was walking by her and we made eye contact. And when she looked into my eyes and I looked into her eyes, at that time, we connected in our hearts. You know, and it was over after that. No pressure. She was mine.
Hey, that's what
and, you know, I'm thankful to Allah and His messenger for her. She gave me 6 beautiful children, whom I love very much. I miss my daughter Malia. Unfortunately, she's no longer with us. At the time Allah gave her to her, I enjoyed it very much.
Praise be to Allah, and I love you. We love your family, and Sister Malia is always very nice to myself and my siblings as well, as was most of your children, especially Lewis, who I went to school with. So he was always, we were very close, and we would, get in trouble in MUI quite often together. Thank you to the teachers for beating us. Brother Joshua, what has been your greatest trial in your life, and how have you overcome that?
Well, I'm still fighting, son. Nephew. My greatest trial is trying to stay sober. Man, because I accomplish everything else I wish to accomplish. But when I get frustrated, I seem to take it out on myself.
Yes, sir.
I help everybody else and I can give good advice. But when I get bogged down, I go say my prayers and stuff, but a little beer, a little champagne, shot of vodka,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I need to calm down and chill,
Yes, sir.
And I just pray to Allah that I'm able to get over that hurdle, because I have many strong days, but I have some weak, but Allah's God and I'm doing well right now. I just pray to Allah that I continue to do well.
Yes, sir. We do as well. And our prayers are always with you, for you inspire not just me personally, but an entire nation. And our love and prayer is always with you. And I always tell people this, that who your parents are is important, but to me, who you are is even more important. So, Brother Josh, I love you, not just because of who your parents are, because, Allah Akbar for that, but just who you are as a person to me. So I'm definitely always praying for you and nothing but love. My next question for you is, what has been your greatest joy in life?
My greatest joy in life. To see my father's wishes and dream that we to make come true is to rebuild the nation and to see our people free.
Yes, sir.
To see us doing better, to see us healthier, to see us thriving in business and being intelligent and respecting one another. That's what I want. I want us to be a happy people, a free people.
Yes, sir. Beautiful. Praise be to Allah. My next question is, has there ever been a moment of fear that you've had to face? And if so, how did you overcome that fear?
Josh, I don't scare easily and fear. But when my father was close to taking his last breath, and me and Fatima was right there, Dr. Aline was there, my mother. my father was dying. I was afraid of losing because you don't want to see nobody go you really love.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But he means so much to me. And when I seen the blood clot coming out of him, out of his rectum, almost size of a cantaloupe. The minister he was turning gray because he had lost so many units of blood. So they had to flip the table. To where his feet were elevated and his head was down. And for whatever blood was left in his body, that it could get to his heart, keep him going. And my sister run up out of that room to get blood. And Dr. Ling was saying, we can't get the blood because it might have AIDS in it. We hadn't tested it for AIDS. And we, man, F that.
Yes,
Go
sir.
get the blood. Because with
Yes, sir.
And even if the blood had AIDS, at least we get 10 more years.
Yes, sir.
20 more years.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That blood right now, we can kiss the minister goodbye.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I wasn't ready to do that. But that was one of my greatest fears. And all praises due to Allah, we did overcome.
Allahu Akbar. Yes, sir. I don't know. Allah's the greatest because I don't know if I could do that for my own father. So I can only imagine you doing it for yours, sir. I can only imagine. Well, Rajesh, what has been your favorite celebrity interaction? Because you have been around so many celebrities. What has been your favorite one?
One of my most favorite, Josh, I'm only going to be able to take 2 more questions, and then we can do a part 2. I'll come back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man, living with Michael Jackson was one of the greatest celebrities I ever met in my life. But the most greatest that I had an opportunity to share my life with was Jim Brown, Hall of Fame football player.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And we introduce your father to Jim, and your father and I and Jim, and we sit up on the deck around the swimming pool overlooking California, because he lived way up in the mountains.
Yes, sir.
And to sit on his patio, it's like looking out of an airplane window. You know.
Yes, sir.
For landing. Jim Brown had a great impact on my life, my father's life, my brother's lives, my sister's lives. Jim Brown became like, I'm your uncle, he's mine.
Praise be to Allah. Beautiful. Okay, yes, sir.
But living with Michael Jackson was no joke either. Michael Jackson was a beautiful brother. Beautiful. And when I used to, ride in the car with him, I would sit in the passenger seat. My brother Bashir would be driving, and man, Michael started singing in the back seat, just, and the hairs would stand up on my neck. The brother, very talented, beautiful voice.
Beautiful. Okay, one more question, Uncle Josh, please. One more question. What do you want your legacy to be?
I want my legacy to be that I stood by my father and helped him rebuild this mighty nation that would go into the future. And because of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Minister Farrakhan, and people like you and me, this work will go on forever.
Allahu Akbar.
And I want to make that my legacy, that I was there and I was one of the pillars in this building to hold it up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Along with your father and Brother Anthony, Secret Squirrel, you know, all these people who helped, Reverend Willie Wilson. We got a movement.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want you to give your beautiful family my love and greetings.
Yes, sir.
Your beautiful mother, my prayers go out to her.
Yes, sir.
And longevity.
Yes, sir.
And you tell your beautiful father to please give me a call.
Yes, I will.
And Josh, I really appreciate what you're doing to further the nation.
Yes, sir.
To bring us up, to hold us up.
Yes, sir.
Keep up your good work.
Yes, sir.
And I don't care if it's tomorrow or the next day. I'll come right back on, man, and we can do this. I got a lot to say.
Praise be to Allah. And we look forward to it and love you very much, sir. And I'll text you when we get off the phone. I mean, get off the Skype. Thank you all for watching.
Love you.
Love you more, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.